Uh,
Or did she just make the decision and then somebody else actually does it?
the two of them made the decision, as far as you know.
Okay. And they have no children.
They have no children.
So the fact that he inadvertently let slip is that he is somehow blood related to the two of them in a way that would be socially catastrophic for the masses to actually learn. Like he's a bastard child or something from years and years ago that they've kept close to their
Oh,
house.
hold on, hold on. I gotta make
Slow
a
your roll.
note. So, because you didn't have any wagers,
No,
you're saying that he's actually a bastard.
blood related to the count and countess in some way.
Blood related to the Count and Countess.
I mean, probably not both of them because then he would just be their son.
Count or Countess in some. Pick one of them. The Count or the Countess.
Oh, the count, clearly,
Okay.
because he's wily and crafty. And he's one of the more honored members of the Senate, so he has way more to lose.
And what's happening is that he's getting these barrage of questions. They're coming from like different people, like really fast, and he's trying to keep up, and he's trying to be social and be entertaining. And you flat out ask him, just like, "So, who are you related to here?" Just slipping it in as subtle as possibly can be. And he just goes, well, you know, I'm related to the Count, without even like thinking about it. And then someone else hits him with another question, and he doesn't even realize like what he just said, what he just admitted to.
Did Darcy notice what he said?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you can have a style point for that.
Okay. I'm going to like, my questions from here on out to him are all going to be softball stuff.
Hey Utu, hey Aban,
Yep.
Hey,
you just heard, and you're pretty sure you heard correctly that that Ryus just admitted that he's related to the Count, even though they have no, you know for a fact that they have no children.
Utu remains stone faced and does not outwardly project his surprise, but then it starts to this all starts to kind of make sense in his mind. Like, okay, this is why he was elevated. Okay. Once I'm able, once I get that, once I get that information, Utu will I'm not really peppering him with any of those, with any of the nicety questions. Utu is more you know what, I'm gonna say Utu would try and slow the gaggle down a little bit after that gets let slip, but not immediately after. Like, let a couple more questions fly, and then he's going to try and get the gaggle to like slow their roll a little bit, so where they're only getting like maybe giving him time to process the question and give an answer. That's kind of what I want to do. So I want to try to set him at ease a little bit. That's what I'm trying to do.
All right, how about, since there's a lot going on there, make me a prowess risk.
Okay.
And are you wagering at all?
I am not wagering, but I roll
Okay.
a 12.
Roll the 12? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that the way you do this, since you didn't wager, is that the moment you see an opportunity, is the moment you basically declare yourself in the conversation and you start guiding him and his responses and essentially monopolizing the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yeah,
And that's
perfect.
essentially what happens is that you start monopolizing the conversation, and the moment you start monopolizing conversation, the gaggle starts to thin out. They start going off doing their own thing.
Okay. Once the gaggle starts to thin out, I will make my proper introductions to Rios.
And he introduces himself as Rios Tamil, House of the Fox. Really awkwardly, by the way.
Baron Utu Ivari of House of the Fox. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Pleasure. And you are? He said. He looks at Aban.
And Aban gives a very, very deep bow and says, Aban Thorn of the House of the Falcon, at your service. He goes, I hear you are a warrior of some renown. And Aban will not draw his sword, but pull the sheath and all, and say, goes, I would like to hear about some of your adventures, and then maybe tell you of some of mine. And just trying to draw him out of his shell, find something that to bring him at ease, because Aban can tell this man is very, very nervous.
How about
Just
why don't you make me how about a cunning risk?
okay. I'm going to.
This will be contested.
All right. I'm going to call on insight into the matters of etiquette, I think.
Okay.
And I'm going to roll all dice. I'm not going to wager anything. And that is.
Y'all scared of wagering this.
I mean, I only had I only rolled 3
No,
dice.
it's all right. Messing with
11, 12, 13.
you. Okay. And once he gets he easily gets the impression that you're trying to relax him and drift him more into a conversation that he is comfortable with. And it works perfectly. He starts walking away as if expecting you to join him, and away from the people who have that are still around him, including Utu and Rezi.
And I will do so.
Utu will clap Aban on his shoulder as he steps away.
And Aban will turn to look at him and says, yes, dear friend.
And just give him a polite, approving nod.
And Aban will nod back and hustle to catch up with the honored guest for the evening to continue the conversation.
Great. Rezi,
Yeah.
you feel a hand on your shoulder.
Whose hand is it?
You turn around and you see an older man staring at you, stone-faced. He is in autumn. He is a little bit older, and he says, Darshi, will you please excuse Rezi and I for just a moment? And it doesn't take long for you to realize, oh, Rezi and this man know each other.
Do I know this guy?
No, you don't.
Okay.
But I will let you make a wisdom risk.
I don't care if I know this guy. I'm gonna wager 1 die.
All right.
No, I have no idea who this guy is.
Okay. His hand has not left your shoulder.
Okay.
And he leans into you and he says, "So, you think sleeping with my daughter is okay, do you? Hmm?" And his hand on your shoulder just tightens a little bit.
I tell him I'm afraid you have me at a disadvantage, sir. We have not been introduced.
Oh, my mistake. Allow me to introduce myself.
As you go to fantasynamegenerators.com.
I might be. I am Egalis, House Wolf. And you quickly realize, well, no, he said so, that this is his father.
Yeah.
This is her father.
Mm-hmm.
He has clearly heard all of the gossip, that rumor mongering that has gone around this morning, and is now confronting you about it.
Okay. And so I understand that he's upset about something, yes?
Yes.
I'm gonna pretend like I'm not. Like I don't understand what he's upset about. Like he's just introducing himself. Like I don't notice he's squeezing my shoulder like really hard. Like I'm gonna have fingernail marks. And I compliment him on his daughter's beauty.
Yes, she is my prized little princess, isn't she?
Is
Grip
Princess...
Grip tightens just a little bit more.
Where are Utu? I mean, they wandered off with the beefcake, yes?
Yes.
I didn't... That's not my word. That's in the
It's
briefing
in the
notes we have. That Rio's is a beefcake. Okay. Yeah, continue to have pleasant, from my end, just pleasant, naive conversation. What I'm trying to do is get him to, like, make the first, act of aggression in this conversation.
Right,
like, I want him to slip up first.
First things first, you got to make a courage risk.
A courage risk.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So
that I have privilege.
you do have privilege.
So I'm not just unfazed. Like, this is not the first time I've been cornered by some old coot at a party. Like, you've fouled my daughter. Like, no, it's not. Not my first rodeo, and I'm not scared of this guy.
Maybe one of those people was Utu.
At one point, and now we're best friends. So.
Yeah, you brush this off like it's not. You're like, yeah, whatever.
I've been around this block before.
But I do kind of want to goad him into making a little bit of an ass of himself, so he leaves me alone.
In that case, make a cunning risk.
All right, and I'm going to set aside a wager for that.
All right.
How much of an ass do I want this guy to make out of himself? So, okay, if I go too far, well, you know what? Darcy already doesn't like me. Like, I'm trying to think, do I go all in on this and, like, really make an enemy of this guy? Because that also wouldn't be my first rodeo. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I got style points. I'm going to invoke my aspect I know is secret. Because last night, during our pillow talk, I learned something about Darcy's family. Just a little something.
Okay.
Let's see if I actually make the roll before. So this is a cunning risk. That's 4 dice for the virtue, 3 dice for the aspect. I'm going to set aside 2 wagers and roll 5
Okay.
dice. Let's make sure we stick the landing.
Yeah, you stick the land.
All right, so there's my privilege, so I can... So I get what I want. He slips up first, right?
Yes.
So what happens is, like, he's going a little too far with his protective dad routine. Like, his face is turning red. People are noticing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not unacceptable, but it's also... Because, like, romance and free love, that's kind of what the Ven are all about, in a way. Well, some Ven.
Some Ven. There's definitely a whole category of opera about it.
And so the people in the room are looking at my somewhat scandalous hookup with Darshi. So he is making a little bit of an ass out of himself. The first and is... The secret that I know has to do with how he has screwed over somebody else in this room in a business dealing, and they don't know about it yet.
I will tell you what it is.
Excellent.
He has screwed over. He has screwed over Henry Tamil in a business deal. I'm not going to tell you more than that.
I have another wager here, though.
Okay.
So my other and is that I stand to capitalize on this. I stand to make a lot of... Well, there's not money, but I can profit from this if I play my cards right.
How so? Like, what do you want to... How do you want to profit? Let me put it that way. Like...
There's so many ways.
Because he's making an ass of himself, and he doesn't have the attention of the room just yet, but it's getting there.
So the other and is that if, like, I'm gonna nudge that I know what he's done to the Baron. Tamil's a Baron, right?
He's a count.
A Count. I know what he's done to the Count. But that if he cuts me in on this business dealing that he's made, the Count need not ever find out about it. And also, this business with Darshi is just... It's just a one night of love. It's nothing to be concerned about.
So you're rubbing it in his face that it's a one-night stand.
She already doesn't like me. Like, we're not going to bed again. So.
All right. First things first, take a style point, because I love everything about this.
All right.
And as he realizes what has just transpired and happened, and he looks around at the rest of the room, and he realizes that he's the focal point now of everyone, including Aban and Utu and Rios, and they've stopped their conversation, and they're looking at the scene that has unfolded. He forces a laugh out of himself and kind of shakes you a little bit on the shoulder. He says, all right. We'll talk about it later.
And I tell him I look forward to discussing it later. Perhaps over dinner.
Yeah, perhaps over dinner. And he looks in the room and he lets you go finally for the first time as he makes a very unceremonious exit from the ballroom.
How does Darshi respond to that?
I'll let you make a wisdom risk. You tell me.
Yeah, she follows him out.
Okay. Yeah, she follows him out.
Good, I don't have to deal with that skank anymore.
All right. Aban and Utu.
Yes.
I mean, Aban is just speaking with name Rios. Yes, I'm just speaking with Rios about past deeds, like courageous deeds and stuff, and like just trying to get learn more about the man. Obviously he's not comfortable in the current situation, so you need to learn more about what he is comfortable in.
And he tells you the stories of fending off bandits, coming to the aid of both Henriel and Shajar at various times, so when he was a seneschal and a valet, as well as working out some trade negotiations between the farmers and the counts and making sure that both parties were properly represented.
Oh,
You get the sense that he's being very humble about everything, which again, not very Ven. Ven are not into being humble. He should be bragging about all of this, but still all very new to him.
I'm going to flatter him about this and like trying to kind of build up his confidence about it. Be like these are things you should be proud of and this kind of thing, and like you should wear these accomplishments upon your sleeves so that all may know how great you are. It is the Ven way.
Make a beauty risk.
Ugh. Like that's my no. It's my no.
This is no.
oh no.
I'm glad we have a name for that stat now. It's your no stat.
Yep. And I mean, like I said, I'm just trying to impress upon him that all that, but I don't really have anything left to roll for that. So
Can I pick up on that and say that that's all very valid and very noble and definitely worthy of praise, and so therefore that's part of that. That's only one facet of why you were given this great honor and privilege, and you are now among the elite. And one must carry themselves with such bearing, and I would be more than pleased to show you the ropes, as it were.
and Aban will be like, yes, you can find no more true a friend than Utu here. He can show you through all the pitfalls and things like that, and help you with these social niceties of this world we live in.
Utu, make a cunning risk. It is contested.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and spend a style point to let myself give myself to invoke my navigating the red tape to give him just kind of the baseline of how to do this.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get 6 dice. I'm gonna set aside 2. And yep. So not only do I impress upon him that he is
Hold on.
Oh, good.
Hold on. How many wagers did you do?
2.
Okay, yeah, you're good.
So not only do I impress upon him that it is of utmost importance that he carry himself with the bearing the bearing of a Ven, but that's my baseline there for that. As far as what I get,
You're basically telling him like, hey, you're a Ven now. You need to act like a Ven, right?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with that.
And for the first time that morning, he smiles and nods, like, okay.
And Utu gestures to Rezi, and as you can see, my friend Rezi there, he was in a very awkward situation, but he's managed to turn the situation into into such that he comes out the stronger for it. There's many types of strength, my friend, and it's not just about physical strength that he gestures to his beefy arms and whatnot, but there's also strength of the mind and strength of the courts. And to be a proper Ven, you must have all three in perfect balance.
And when you start talking about the courts and socializing, at that point you've and trying to say like, hey, you need to have strength comes from multiple sources. You've lost him at that point. Like, he's no longer interested.
Beautiful, beautiful beefcake.
You've pointed out what Rezi just did and how he leveraged that social situation to his advantage. And in doing that, you actually see that he kind of looks upset for the first time.
Unfortunately, it's the way of things. If it may displease you, but it is the way of the Ven. And if you're going to survive, you need to learn to play the game.
Abon claps him on the back and says, "Do not worry, friend. You're the kind of man where actions speak louder than words. I can tell." He goes, "Just keep getting accomplishments upon your name, and then that will silence any naysayers." He goes, "You have my support."
And he looks at Abon and nods, and he goes, "You make sense. I like you."
Isn't he like 14?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he's spring.
Okay. 14. That's what spring means in my mind.
All right. Technically 10 to 19. But spring.
Oh.
Hmm?
I'm just gonna say, I'm like, I'm now 14.
All right. But yeah, he makes his way over to Rezi. Rezi.
I greet him
Rios
warmly.
comes and he says, "Burn Rios Tunnel, House Fox." Do you do that often?
I didn't overhear what Utu said, had I?
No.
Then I... Why, whatever do you mean, sir?
What you did to that guy with your wordplay and getting him angry. Is that a thing you do?
Oh! My dear friend, I didn't do a thing. Some people are just naturally angry.
He... He's going to make cunning roll risk, and he is going to tag Love the Shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't like you, and you set him with the whole spectacle and everything. You set him ill at ease, and you're a little concerned with the fact that the focus of the party doesn't seem to be liking you.
I'm concerned with that?
Yeah, because if the man of the hour is not keen on you, that could mean any number of things could happen to you, and it puts you in a very disadvantaged position. You could be asked to leave. Something worse could even happen.
I ask him what he thinks he witnessed.
What I witnessed was you using your silver tongue to manipulate that guy and get him all mad and made a social fool out of himself, and he stormed off.
Well,
Some younger woman stormed off after him.
I tell him that the reason... I want to say fuck this guy, but I also kind of need this guy if I want to make some bank. So...
Oh, by the way, sorry. I wanted to give Utu a style point for following through on Aban's initial reaction.
Ah,
So take a style point. Sorry,
Sure.
go ahead.
I tell him that it would be presumptuous of me to tell a fellow member of the House of the Fox how and why certain social interactions go the way they do. But I will say that not everything is as it looks at first glance. The argument that you witnessed was about, and I'm lying to him here, I tell him it was about some other social concern between me and, what was the man's name?
Ignils.
Ignils.
That's what I've written down. Ignils.
Between myself and Ignils. And he chose to use your occasion as an event to bring it to the surface. And I merely disallowed him of doing that. But please, accept my deepest and most sincere apologies as your good friend Rezi. If I have, in any capacity, stolen your spotlight, it was not my intention, and I will endeavor to keep from doing that to you in the future. And I bow deeply.
And you see the expression on his face change a little bit. You've clearly gotten through to him. What you said to him makes sense, and he understands the reasoning behind it. But there still seems to be this lingering thing of...
But enough of that. And I stand back up, and I clap my hands to his shoulder. Give his muscles a little squeeze. A beefcake like you. I tell him... So, okay, I'm assuming that, like, the unblooded don't have the, like, they don't go artifact hunting.
No, definitely not.
Okay. I tell him that the ability to play this social game, this repartee, this tete-a-tete, there are other ways to distinguish oneself as a Ven. And I regale him with tales of my adventures artifact hunting. And I'm trying to appeal to him because as a man of pure strength, that might make more sense to him than the wine glasses and the frilly shoes and everything else. And there is a lot to gain by artifact hunting, so I'm not lying about that.
Right. And he stops you relatively quickly, and he goes, yeah, that's what your friend over there said. And he points to Utu.
Do I know anything about Utu having an artifact?
Not about artifact, but about how there's more than one way to win social graces. And it's more than just frilly parties and fancy music and fancy cheeses and all of that.
What I'm going to do is subtly imply to him. First of all, I'm going to... Like, is ownership of an artifact, is that something that a Ven would keep secret, or is that something we would flaunt?
If I said both, does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's both.
So, first, I'm going to imply that perhaps that's the course he should pursue, a life of artifact hunting. And I'm also going to imply that I own one, and I would love to show it to him.
Okay. First things first. Gotta make a courage risk.
Okay.
Because you want the courage to be able to say, subtly imply to him that you have a magical artifact.
Yeah, I'm going to invoke my aspect Chance Taker when taking a particularly risky action with high probability of failure. So that gets me to 5 dice, and I'll take 1 wager.
And he is going to...
Whew, okay, so I got the courage risk under control.
I've already tagged Love the Shoes. I think he knows you well enough now to tag. I've got it. I know a secret. So
Okay.
he's gonna do that.
Fair enough.
Yep. All right. And so you tell him that you subtly imply that you have an artifact, and you suggest that. And what was your suggestion? That they go hunting, or
I have privilege on the courage roll. What does that allow
Right.
me to do here? Oh, and one wager.
it allows you to reveal the fact that you have an artifact.
Okay.
Fact for an artifact, yeah.
So how this plays out is I'm going to imply that this helped me at a point in my life when I was more vulnerable. Not as vulnerable as him, obviously. But there was a point in my life where like artifact hunting helped me to gain some social standing at a point when it was very important. And the wager I'm using, and this is absolutely true, one of the mothers of my daughters, a woman named Ek, is my third contact,
Yeah.
is the person that I went on this adventure with.
Yeah.
And through her, I was able to find lifelong love. No matter what else happens in my life, I know I can always go back to her, and she will always accept me, and I will always be welcome and loved. And this is what adventuring has allowed me to do for my life. I'm trying to make that appeal to him.
All right. I'm gonna say that's a beauty risk,
Okay.
because you are trying to paint a portrait, essentially, of what adventuring for magical artifacts means.
Sure am.
And since he has no concept of that whatsoever,
How do I tap into a devotion?
um, the way I've ruled it is that if you invoke it, you get because you have a certain number.
Mm-hmm.
That number is just dice you can add.
Okay. How many times can I invoke a devotion?
However many you've put into it at character creation. So if you put in 2, you can invoke it twice, which means you
Gotcha.
can add 2 dice for 1 roll or 1 die for 2 rolls.
I'm going to invoke my devotion to Talia Ivari.
Mhm.
Because I'm painting this picture of romance.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tag both of those dice.
Okay, I was gonna say, remember they don't refresh because I'm just not gonna let them refresh.
Okay, well, they'll refresh next
Let's
session, yes?
No,
No?
because it's not. It's only going to be like a 2-session game, so.
Okay, well, I'm still going to do it.
Okay.
And I'm going to set aside one wager, because I want this guy to really like me.
Okay.
That's not going to do it, though.
Oh, that's not gonna do it.
Oh no.
And you try your hardest to. You invoke the images of sorcerer kings and how powerful they were, and the fact that they left behind all of this stuff, and it's just the Ven's, the Ven's place to take over from there and to use these artifacts, and how helpful they can be in like social situations. And you try so hard to paint this very rosy picture of what are always tend to be like very deadly and dangerous artifacts, but it's just not clicking with him. Like, he has no like measurement of this whatsoever. Everything in his life has been like transactional and purposeful, and everything has meaning. And this concept of like powerful magical artifacts it's not landing at all.
Then, when I see that it's not landing at all, that's when I'll lean in and I'll be like, if you like, I'll show you what I mean. Again, implying that I own this artifact.
And he stands upright, crosses his arms, and goes, "All right."
And I set a time. I'm assuming I have private quarters or something while I'm staying here.
Yes, everyone does.
Then yeah, I'll set a time in between meals or functions when we can meet privately in my private quarters, and I will show him the magic mirror.
All right. Utu and Aban,
Yeah.
what are you guys up to, if anything?
At this point, Utu is looking to see that he's kind of got that Rios has kind of wrapped around oh Rezi's finger a little bit in this thing. So I'm actually going to look for Countess Shajar if she is out and about.
Sure. How about you, Aban?
Aban is going to go introduce himself to Rezi because they do not know each other, but they seem to be mutual acquaintances of Utu. And, well, Utu is just his best friend in the whole world, gosh darn it. And he wants to know more about the people that he hangs out with.
All right. Let's do Aban and Rezi first, then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. That'll give me a chance
So-
to hit the head real quick.
Okay. Rezi, you set a time later in the day. You've invited Rios to your personal quarters with the expectation that you are going to show him your mirror.
Yeah.
And Rios begs your pardon as he continues to go make the social rounds. And the moment he does, Aban comes up to you.
And Aban introduces himself as is proper and bows deeply and says, like, we seem to be mutual acquaintances of Utu, and I would like to know more about you.
Now, am
Also,
I supposed to know their aspects and tags?
No.
Okay.
This is what I was talking about during character creation, where it's just like, he says you don't know each other's like tags and compels, but also at the same time he doesn't ever really mention like how you're supposed to figure them out.
Well, my mirror specifically allows me to do that if I know their name, which I do because he just told me.
Okay.
But also, Rios tagged my love the shoes, which means he learned that somehow.
Yeah, that's true. He made a cunning roll to try and figure it out.
Okay. I'm gonna do that with... let's actually figure something out more about Amon. At this point, I'll just acknowledge that, yeah, Utu and I are good friends. His niece is my daughter.
And Aban will acknowledge this and then start asking him questions about his daughter. How old is she? What is she? Just making small talk about his family.
I mean, if you're familiar with Utu's household, you probably know her.
Oh right, yeah, I guess. He'll ask you like which one of Aban's sisters is. Does he only have one sister? I think he only has the one sister. So yeah, I would know, and he'll be like, "Oh yes, so and so," and he'll start rattling off as if he's spoken to her before, because he probably has met her.
Okay.
And he's just making small talk at this point, trying to get a feel for you. Because he has noticed, Aban has noticed that you kind of, because it was brought to his attention that you kind of made a fool of that other man, because he was standing right there when Utu brought it up to Rios. And he will he's gonna babble until you stop him.
So
more or
for
less.
like being in spring in Ven society, like this boy's not old enough to have lovers yet, right?
I don't know. Ask Aban.
Okay, I'm going to.
You have sexual conquest?
Aban is very good at the sex, yes. Is what he is basically the response that he will give.
Is that appropriate for a 14-year-old?
He is very good at the sex.
Okay, so I'm going to imply that what he saw transpire between me and Illyrio, or whatever his name was. I don't write down NPC names. I'm sorry.
Ignilis.
Ignilis. He'll Aban will understand when he's older, kind of.
And Aban will kind of like retort back with something along the lines of I guess, try to turn it around on him in such a way that to make him sound foolish. And because he's obviously trying to insult me, and that's
I'm trying to maintain your virginal honor as a 14-year-old. I don't know that you're out there.
You're just implying that I don't know what I'm doing and like all this other stuff. And
at 14, you're not supposed to know what you're doing.
Listen, I am very good at the sex.
Not a thing.
I mean, are you telling me that? Because Rezzy's not really interested. Uh-oh, I have a gray box now.
Should have a white box.
A white, gray, whatever. My bag is also gray.
Why don't... It sounds like... you two need to... Both of you make a contested cunning risk to see who gets the better of who.
I'm going to invoke the righteous fury of youth because he has challenged my honor.
Okay. And I'm going to say on top of that, since he's invoking an aspect, I will let Rezzy, if he wants to make a wisdom risk to figure out your tag and compel.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
So yeah, I got an 11 on that. On the wisdom.
All right. The tag and compel for righteous fury of youth is can be tagged when the character is driven to rage, and the compel is drive the character to rage.
So what do I have to do do I have to do anything to tag or compel? Like, does that cost a style point, or do I just declare that it happens?
Yes, it costs a style point. If you're tagging or compelling him, tags cost a style point, and compels mean you give him the style point. And if he wants to reject the compel, then he pays 2 style points instead.
I'm going to compel him to be driven to rage by my comments.
Okay.
Yeah, because you are saying that he's 14 years old, and clearly he's a little bit older than that, and... so,
okay.
He's definitely poking at you.
So I only get my 4 dice for cunning, and I'm going to set aside 1 as a wager.
Okay.
I'm gonna do...
Well, I put it in boxes so you wouldn't tell, but...
Oh, I didn't... I thought I was supposed to tell. Also, he can just watch the stream and see what I'm doing.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Am I supposed to tell what my roll was?
If you've beaten 10, then you got to declare how many wagers you made.
I made 1 wager, and I beat 10.
I made 2 wagers, and I did beat 10.
So, but he did compel you.
Right.
Are you following the compel? Are you going to get mad? Okay.
I am very upset with him right now.
All right, so Rezzy lose a style point, and Aban gain a style point.
All right. Okay. So what is the general like
who has privilege here? I guess is the question.
Aban does because he had more wagers.
Okay.
So what is the general like process for like you have insulted my honor, Cat, and like throwing down a gauntlet?
Oh, there is dueling.
Yes, I know.
But I have privilege, right? So I get to decide how...
No, you don't have privilege.
Okay.
Azan does. Or... I combined both of your names. Aban does. Sorry, I'm looking at the dueling rules. Sorry, keep going. Keep going.
I'm just going to very publicly, like, you know, I came to you and as a friend, and you insulted me, and just I came to you with my hat in my hand, just very loudly, drawing as much attention as possible.
Are you actually challenging him to a duel?
Well, that's what I don't know. Like, what are the steps involved in such a thing?
All right. Yeah, there's plenty of ways. Sorry, I'm reading the rules. It's a very formalized procedure. You're going to have to petition the Senate to duel.
Okay, well, I will inform him that there shall be a petition forthcoming, and I'm going to what is not acceptable? Can I slap him in the face and that be considered unacceptable? What is the limit here?
So the way it's broken down is by insult, injury, and true pain. The moment you inflict a slap on him, insult becomes injury.
Okay.
Right
All right.
now, you've just insulted he's just insulted you.
Right.
You've perceived an insult, I should say.
And he's he's enraged. That happened. He's
Yes,
really
that-
mad about this.
He is really, really mad about this, yes.
Which is why I'm taking it to the logical conclusion that we're now enemies for life, and there will be a formal complaint made. I'm going to speak to your manager, and I'm going to turn around and walk away.
And everyone is staring at the two of you again, and there's excited chittering.
I'm flipping my coat and ruffling my feathers and just walking off.
I imagine that Resi currently has troll face on his face right now.
I am going to play it off like he's clearly overreacting. The impetuousness of youth. Try to get everybody laughing about it.
Make a beauty roll.
Beauty roll? Does this still need to be under
Beauty
this,
risk. A beauty risk.
under the secret?
No, you don't need it. No, you don't.
Okay. I need to roll 3 dice, don't I? There we go.
I would. Otherwise, you're not gonna make 10.
All right, there we
on
go.
one
There's... That's 43. Okay.
And you go to the room. The impetuousness of youth, and
So
there's mild laughter and some slight applause at the entire spectacle that has befallen the room.
well, I have privilege, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
This plays out in a way that Abon, they're not laughing at him. They just recognize that he's young and brash, and maybe he's made a mistake, but it's a forgivable one. And clearly this is not something we have to kill each other over. Maybe.
Hence the laughter and the slight applause.
Yeah.
They really enjoyed that.
Did I get a little pop-up in the screen? The vet enjoyed that.
But you both could have a style point for that. I really. In fact, now would probably be a good time to take our break.
Okay.
So let's take a little bit break. Be back in 15 minutes. And we will see what happens with Utu and Rios.